showing we don't need roads.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey, Jake.
It's so good to see you. Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to do it. I'm going to jump in because I got a bunch of questions for you guys. For all of the hijinks and the fun trouble that she causes, it's interesting that Bailey actually does end up, I feel like, making a lot of the characters sort of think about the world differently and sometimes see the world differently. And I was wondering, in your careers, who was that person for you? Who was the person that came into your career, into your life, and kind of just made you see the business differently?
That's a good question.
Wow, you're starting us off with a thinker. There's a couple people that come to mind. My mom is actually my own real mother is actually really savvy and has given me a lot of really good advice over the years. And actually I kind of look back at the beginning of my career and think like I should have had my mom manage me, because had her be like a true momager, because she's got really good instincts, and just over time she's had really good instincts about things. She's usually been right. And then I would say probably it's been fun. My husband has, been in the business for a long time, and tackling things with him as a couple has been really exciting and eye-opening. And I just, he has a lot of wisdom. And so I know we were friends for a long time, so I got to see him like on a professional level without us being a couple. So I've learned a lot from him.
There's been quite a few people along the way, but I think the first time it was probably my first agent, Marcia Hervey, actually. And she kind of told me that when you get into this business, you're going to hear a lot of this word: no, 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 no. And you can never take that personally, never. Because, Kat probably knows just as well. I don't know how many times I've, gone out for something and it just doesn't work, and you hear no all the time. But you kind of, you never take that personally. It's just a choice that was made at that particular moment, and you weren't right for that part, whatever that was, and you keep moving on. And I've kind of stuck with that and never, kind of always persevered and moved on from not taking any of those rejections personally.
That's a great idea. That's also important too. Whenever I talk to, high school kids and stuff, I always tell them like, you're going to get told a lot more than you get told yes. Katharine, I'm a big pop culture nerd. I love movies and TV and music. It's why I have this job. But speaking of moms, my mom has always told me something really interesting. She said that when you have kids, there are certain movies and TV shows and songs that are going to change for you. And she always says like, you don't know what it is until you have them. And then you see that movie differently, or you hear that song differently. Now that you are a new mom, and congratulations on that, are there any things in pop culture that you can already tell have changed for you? Any movies or TVs or songs?
Well, I'm only a 3-week new mom, so I don't think I've even gotten that far to think quite that far. But I will say that just like everything you think about is in alignment with your new child. That's what now everything I do, like I get in the car and leave for 10 minutes or whatever, I'm thinking about, how it affects my child. So I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
I already know some movies that I definitely want him to watch. Like, things that I grew up watching, like Singing in the Rain and White Christmas, a lot of things with Gene Kelly.
Yes.
And Sound of Music, which is funny because our show happens to be sort of like a little spin, a little country version of Sound of Music. But yeah, just like real classics, things that I grew up with. So
For sure. And as we wrap up, I've always kind of thought growing up that it would be great to work on a sitcom, because you get to tell a joke and then you have an entire audience that laughs at your joke. And I've always been wondered what that does for your ego. And whenever you tell a joke and have a whole crowd like that laugh, and then when you go home, is it a little bit of a bummer to tell a joke and not have that whole crowd laugh at you?
I'm terrible at telling jokes, so this is the perfect job for me, because the only way I get laughs from my friends and family is me just being silly, which is probably why I got this job, because Bailey is pretty silly and pretty hysterical. But I'm never going to be a comedian. I'm not a good joke teller. I don't even get jokes. I'm like I'm like the dumb blonde in the room where I'm like, I don't get it. So it all kind of works for me to be playing Bailey, because, right?
The worst part is when you tell a joke and nobody laughs. Then you're like, wait a second.
Really know.
Yeah, then they all go back. The writers go back and go, what happened there? Hopefully it wasn't the delivery.
Yeah, they're going, it was Eddie's fault.
Yeah.
Somehow you always think it's your fault, right? Like that it didn't work.
Of course, it's always your fault. You feel like it's always your fault. right? When it's probably not really your fault. Maybe the joke just wasn't funny.
Right.
But it's yeah, I mean, look, that live audience when we had it, when we were filming it, the first half of our show, it was, I mean, there's an energy that they bring that's, you know, unmatched on, you know, anything else you do. Maybe theater, you'll get that as well. But besides that, you get this immediate reaction, which is fantastic, and it really helps us out a lot.
Fantastic. Guys, I had so many more questions for you, but they're giving me the wrap. So seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you guys have a lot going on. Eddie, good to see you. And Katharine, congratulations on all the new happiness in your life.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're going, we don't need roads.